my gosh. I'm live. You guys,
The iPad is
we're
working.
here, but the internet is acting weird. Did you guys hear?
And we're crooked again.
I know. I couldn't get it straight.
I just got here and I was
barely
late.
hanging by a thread.
I
am
know.
so
You
sick
were
of being
so sick all last
I'm
week.
still feeling
It's
woozy.
like germ warfare. I don't know what's going on with the world. It's like you get sick and then you get better for a day. You're like, thank you, Jesus, I got better. And you go and do something and then the next day you're like flat on your back again.
Don't get on a plane.
So
just whatever you do, don't get on a plane.
Were there snakes?
Snakes?
Snakes on a plane?
No, there's just germs. Like if any of you fly a lot, or if you are like an airline flight attendant, how do you keep from getting sick? Because I've gotten sick 3 times since September, and I never, like, usually I get sick once every 3 years.
Well,
and
you've
it's
been
always
on
after
a
I
lot
get
of
off
planes
the plane.
this year.
I know, but it shouldn't be like that. Like
I know.
how could you have a job in the air?
You need
flying?
a better filter of the.
I'm gonna start wearing one of those
things.
masks.
Ooh, I think you should, and we could paint it, and it would be totally
Decorate it?
awesome.
Like maybe we could
Yes, and then
crochet
we could
one?
totally make them and sell them. We're like, if you're going on a plane, you really need this. Not to use our paint because there's no VOCs, just for traveling.
Airborne. I need to try
Oh,
that.
Airborne, yeah.
I was using oregano oil. Levi is here.
Oh yeah, did you see him earlier? He was over
Levi,
here.
come say hello.
Come on.
Come here. I'm pet sitting while my dad's at his doctor's.
Hey.
You guys,
Can you see him? Here,
if
up.
any of you have wrenches, please keep an eye out for the trolls because Stephanie is sick. Levi's
we're all
messing
sick.
with the
Where's
tripod.
Levi? Come on, up here. Good boy. Look at we can barely pick him up now. Oh, he's so cute.
There he is. Look at
He's so cute.
Look at all
Look
the
at the
comments.
camera.
Levi,
Look at how happy you are.
As soon as
Levi is so cute.
He is so
Show
cute.
Levi. He is a good boy. Oh, he's a good boy. Yes. So you're gonna help us?
Can dogs get sick?
Yeah, dogs get sick too.
I did not want to give him my germs, but I can't keep my
Stop touching him.
face off of him.
Okay.
All right, so this is the situation.
One coat on here.
One light coat. I asked them last night to base coat it and put the big top on because
coating is just
we
one
wanna,
coat, right?
Yeah, but we want to put this awesome transfer. I've been dying to use this one. This is the new one called Wander, and I've seen a bunch of people use it. But before
they're
you
big,
put,
like lilies.
yeah, and we have this beautiful piece. I don't know if they can see it.
Yeah.
We painted a base coat of blue iris, but you need to put a top coat on before you put the transfer on so it just glides on really smooth. Otherwise you can pull the paint up and then the transfer doesn't stick.
Right.
And you don't want to waste these lovely gorgeousness.
No, we don't.
So Melissa, you had a solution. What was it?
So I was thinking, because I like the brush strokes you can see in it and all the texture. And Debbie was like, I think we need another coat and we need to big top it. And I was like, why don't we leave it like that, where it is old? It is old looking. It has the brush strokes and the texture. We just take some baby wipes or a rag and we totally distress. Like a lot. And then we either big top it or we just go straight to the rubbing on the transfer.
Okay, so I'm down with trying the heavy distress and the baby wipes to see how it looks, because it really is beautiful dark wood under here, and I always love dark wood showing through. So we're gonna start distressing, and then we're gonna apply the big top, and then we're gonna put on this amazing transfer. I want to show you while Melissa gets. We have some scissors.
Oh, the scissors.
Levi, do you have any scissors?
Scissors! I put the scissors with the paint key, so
Oh, that's smart.
hopefully we will keep track of things.
So of course, we are not going to just put it on as is, because I never like to do that. We're gonna cut it up and patch it in and work it around all these lovely details that we have.
There are a lot
I
of
wanna
details
show
today,
you.
but there's this one nice panel in the front. It's not very big. It's probably like 5 by 11. What do you think?
Yeah.
So we can find some kind of lovely something to put right in there. Or even use a stamp like right on that panel. We could do the sincerely yours with love from somebody.
You know,
Or something like that.
I always call the kindest regards.
Oh, kindest regards.
Sincerely yours too. For some reason, I just call it by that, sincerely yours, and it's not. It's kindest regards. But I think that's like a second name. How many of you guys call the kindest regards sincerely yours instead by mistake or something? I'm always doing that. So maybe that's why you do it, Melissa, because I started it.
Yeah, I think probably. So yeah, so anybody out there, we aren't being able to read a whole lot of comments. So
Do you have your phone? We can read from
yeah, I can go get my phone. So anyway, if there are questions out there and somebody knows the
I already
answer,
like that.
go ahead and put it in the comments.
Yeah, need your help
us out,
today.
please.
We need your help today policing the trolls and answering questions. Isn't this cool? I love this. This reminds me a lot of the Midnight Garden, but in a different color scheme. Like it's more pink and white. I know. I'm excited to put this on. I have no idea where it's going to go yet. First, we're going to distress it heavily, and then we're going to patch it in. So we're glad you're here, and excuse me for getting way close, but the sun's in my eyes, and I can't see comments that small anyway on my phone. Thank you, Just Leslie. Awesome. Tell us where you guys are from. Let us know if you have ever used a transfer before on a piece of furniture. I know, the transfers are so fun to work with. And one thing I will tell you about the transfers is you want to make sure you keep the backing on. So if you unroll it to look at it, just like I did, I've made the mistake of letting the backing slip, and then it will stick to itself, and then you just throw away $30, because that's how much that's the average. Sweden, you've never used transfers. Okay, Teresa, is that your name? I'm sorry. If you've never used a transfer and you are in the Netherlands or you're in Sweden, somewhere outside of the US, go to JamieRayVintage.com because she ships these internationally if you're interested in them. And there are IOD retailers in many, many countries. But if you are in the US, we can ship them to you from our website, DIYpaint.co. Kansas, Texas, oh my gosh, I'm so glad. Texas is a place that I'm thinking about going to sometime. Okay, Melissa.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, Melissa can read comments now. I'm going to distress a little bit.
Oh,
So-
there's an ad.
Take non-drowsy
How do I do that?
So you can distress with just cutting up a t-shirt and getting it wet. Our paint is reactivated by water. So you can see I'm pulling the paint off with the baby wipe. You can just distress with sandpaper. You can just... What else could you distress with, Melissa?
You said baby wipes, sandpaper, water, just water. But I almost grabbed just like a sponge, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Once with that scrubby stuff on the back.
Okay, so here's a tip that I have about distress. When you start distressing, it's like, oh my gosh, we got a super chat already. No
Wow,
way.
thank
you,
you.
Suzanne. That's so sweet.
Okay.
You're in LA. Come see us. To reconnect, give you a different look than wet. I like to do a combination of both. When I don't want the paint to blend anymore, I will just use sandpaper if I just want to pull off paint. But if I want to blend it, then I will use a wet distress, which you can use a baby wipe, you could use a wet rag.
Somebody just made from France. She's like,
No way,
"Why don't you
France?
use your paint?"
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So I like to use a combination of both, but I want to talk a little bit about distressing. When I first started distressing, Melissa, I was so excited that you could distress with just a wet rag, because before I'd use DIY paint, you always had to just use sandpaper and you'd work really hard and you'd barely get any paint off. Remember those days?
Yes, and you know what? You're like, "Oh, I'm rubbing and I'm rubbing my rotator cuff." Oh.
And then along comes DIY paint. You can just like take it off with crazy with it. I'm like, and then I started distressing all over, and it looked.
We were just like so excited.
And I see whenever I see looks like leopard spots, that person's just getting started. Because it's like I know the feeling. I used to do that. So when you distress, think about where paint would wear off normally from hundreds of years of being moved around and banged up against things and
opened.
So like near the hardware, on the corners. But
Where a vacuum cleaner would hit it when you were vacuuming.
if I were to distress right here or right here, it's not likely that that would happen organically. So we're just going to distress. We're going to heavily distress, but we're going to distress in the areas where it makes sense, where it would look like it happened. Like this piece was in someone's art studio for hundreds of years, and it got handed down to 3 different families. And we're basically like telling a story that isn't real.
It was in my art studio.
Everybody's
it would
saying,
have paint splattered all over
everybody's
it
saying the
randomly.
feed is weak, buffer, and pixelated.
I know, we're having trouble with the connection. We've already lost it twice, so hopefully it will get better. Is our internet box is on, right, Julie?
What?
Oh no. Oh God, what's going on with today? Rotate device back.
Yeah, internet's on because I logged in.
Okay, you guys, phone just fell out of the thing. It's been one of those days already, you guys. Isn't it fun? I'm gonna try.
So what's Danielle up to today?
She's probably
working her
cutting.
real job?
It's Friday the 13th. That's
It
what's
is
going
Friday
on.
the 13th.
There we go.
Melissa, can you get up here? And... Yeah, I'm gonna
This
hold.
back here,
Yeah,
it's tight.
this one. So that it's squished in there because I didn't tighten it enough. That's why it fell
I don't know.
out.
Maybe I don't know how to do this.
You just gotta really
Okay, so there is loose, and now it's
lefty
as
loosey
tight as
tighty.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
it's as tight as it will go.
All right.
And I
well,
just touched
look, it's
your
more
sick
straight.
hands.
Oh, Friday the 13th.
Oh, go get a baby
I
wipe.
know.
Here,
That
no.
is
Here,
my
Julie.
Thank you.
Don't
son
touch me.
and daughter-in-law's anniversary today.
All right,
So happy anniversary, Jake and Kayla.
I'm gonna distress. Happy anniversary, you guys. How many kids does your son have now?
My son has 4. He has
Wow.
3 boys, and the oldest one will be 10 in 2 days. And
you have a brand
And
new
the-
one, fresh out of the oven, huh?
fresh out of the oven.
How
Well,
old
almost. She'll be 8 months in 2 days as well.
Oh, she's so cute.
Can you
So
guys
see.
hear? Because somebody's saying that there's no sound. Camellia, does everybody else have sound?
Camellia, we're having trouble with the internet, so we're doing the best that we can.
I know. We'll try to face the camera so you can read lips.
Oh, look, somebody met me in
Oh.
Zanesville.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know
Others
what?
can
It's
hear
so
fine,
great
so I
to
think
know
it's
that
just yours.
people-
Maybe
Like, we'll
your
try to
volume.
reach
Sometimes
out
I can't
again.
hear, and it's like it's muted on
Everybody
my own
can
device.
hear, and so it's just Camellia, just your phone
Okay.
or your computer.
So I'm distressing heavily on the corners because that's where it would wear naturally. And I want to take a lot off the corners because I love this dark wood. So I am like really rubbing the heck out of the corners. And I like it. This is blue iris that you guys painted yesterday, right?
Right.
Okay.
Pretty.
I'm going to get another white.
Oh, Julie, get your hands dirty.
Deb's Pouliot
Oh, Deb.
is
Deb.
worried about the heavy distressing, but she thinks it'll turn out fine. Oh, she just retracted her message.
What are you worried about, Debs? Tell us. What's your concern? The reason why we're heavily distressing is because the wood is a beautiful dark wood. Yes, Levi, isn't it? It's dark.
And we
And
also want to get rid of some of the texture in the brush
Levi.
strokes. So
Levi,
we
come
see
here.
some, but not a lot.
yeah, we put on a quick and sloppy coat, and we don't want to take the time to put on a second coat because we want to put a transfer on before the end of the live. So we need to distress and then put the big top on because we got to have a big top before we put the transfer on. So Melissa's solution was to heavily distress and kind of get rid of some of the brush strokes and go with a very light, Like, have you ever seen pieces of furniture that there's barely any paint left on it? Like, because it's
Yes.
just worn and worn?
I always tend to flock towards that kind of.
I like that
style.
too, but I'm so heavy-handed with everything that I do that I've set out to create that look so many times. And
She worries too much.
and
She said it's the dampness, the darkness from the damp areas that she's seeing.
Oh, it is.
So it just hasn't dried out yet. So you're
Yeah.
not seeing what
It is hard.
I know, it's gonna like
Can we put the big?
base color.
I never choose blues unless they're beachy turquoisey. So this is a whole new
boho.
experience for me.
Yeah. I saw someone on Facebook Live this morning painting with cherry picked and Monet's garden, and oh my gosh,
wow.
they look amazing. What do we have any more questions, Jules?
Deb's is saying she's heard that some folks say they don't seal before they add a transfer and it works out. They
It
seal
does if you
after.
wait long enough.
Right.
And we did put this on yesterday. Usually waiting 24 hours is enough, but because the air is so damp, I didn't want to take a chance. Plus, I've gotten a few emails from people saying the transfer is peeling up with the paint, and so I feel a responsibility to tell you, because I don't want anyone losing their transfers, that
I did that. I experienced it. The very first one we got. Do you remember?
yeah. So I don't want it, like, we're kind of your guinea pigs. So we don't want anyone to buy a transfer and then have it not work because they didn't put a top coat on first. The top coat is the surefire way to make sure it's going to stick, but you can also just let the paint cure for a day or two and it will stick. But if you want to be like triple sure, put on the top coat.
A lot of
So-
people are saying that they don't put the top coat on. They probably
Yeah,
wait.
no, most of the time I don't. Whoa, most of
wait
the
till
time I
it's
don't
dry.
put on the top coat. I just wait. But I just don't, like in those rare cases where it happens.
Okay, that wasn't an earthquake. It was me. I accidentally hit the tripod.
In those rare situations, like my heart just breaks for anyone who that would happen to.
I
Yeah.
guess Sela, the base coat is blue iris. I don't think she heard me when I said it before.
And I have a great
did.
suggestion. If you're even a little bit worried about doing this on your own thing, you should totally find a class near you and do it there with somebody. They can totally walk you through every single little step.
So, you guys want to hear about my trip to Ohio?
What? First, answer this question
Okay.
from Jackie. Oh no, from Amy. Do you seal the IOD molds on furniture with wax or Big Top?
Either one. Either one. It's just the last step. Sealing is always the last step. My go-to sealer is usually wax. That's just what I prefer. Melissa loves Big Top.
Yeah, I totally
So-
love Big Top.
Fine.
You can use either. So, yeah. So last Friday, we didn't do this because I was on a plane. And I let everybody know that we would still have Flea Market Friday, but it would be from Ohio. And I got on the plane, and it's like an all-day thing to get to Ohio from California, especially because I had an hour-and-a-half layover in, gosh, I don't even remember where I was. We landed somewhere.
Denver.
I don't know. I don't think it was Denver. It's all a blur. Anyway, it was so fast because I
It's
had to
all a
run.
blur because all those germs that were inundating.
And I had to
your
run
body.
to my gate because the plane was late. So I had to run to catch the next flight. But anyway, we get there and there's the time change, and then the plan is that I was gonna go live from Ohio in Kelly's store, and Dion was gonna go live from her Facebook page on the Turquoise Iris, and Kelly was gonna go live, and Kenise was gonna go live. So we're all four of us going live at one time. And first we have dinner, and I have like a half a glass of wine, and I'm totally a lightweight because I don't know why. Keto, maybe. Keto, I barely drink, yeah. And so, but I did have a glass of wine because I'm like, I'm not driving, so you know, I think I will have a glass of wine after all of this. And I get halfway through it, and I'm like, whoa, I better stop. How pathetic is that?
Half a glass of
Halfway
wine.
through, I'm
Yeah.
like, I better stop. I was feeling woo. So then we all walk across the street from the restaurant over to Kelly's, and Dion's like, okay, we're gonna go live. And I'm like, you know what? I don't need to go live because it's already late. They probably like forgot about it. And it's like 7 hours later than I should have gone live. And you know, I'll just go live with you guys on your channels. But I was like stressed out about all of us going live at the same time. And I just didn't want to think that hard. And Dion looks at me and she goes, Debbie, give me your phone. And I'm like, I hand her my phone and she puts it in the tripod. And then it starts falling out of the tripod. And I'm like, see, it's not gonna work. And then Matt comes over with some painter's tape and he straps my phone in. And we went live from there. How many of you watched? So I don't know if you watched it, but we did all go live last Friday night from Ohio. But I'm saying all this because I'm always telling the retailers how important it is for your business, if you have a small business, to promote it through video. Like that's how people get to know you and connect with you. And sometimes you don't feel like being in front of the camera and you just want to like drink a glass of wine instead. But it's important. And even I don't feel like it sometimes, but I'm glad that I did it. It was really fun.
Elizabeth watched it and she said you were too cute.
Could she tell? Ask her if she could tell that I had drank a glass of wine.
Could you tell Elizabeth if she had drank a
She's
lot of wine?
Dad, come on. My dad's here, you guys.
Hi, Dad.
Hi.
Come say hi to the people.
How's it going?
I was watching Levi, so can anyone see my comment about preventing paint from freezing during shipping? Julie, did you see
Oh,
that
I'm
comment?
sorry.
Come here, Dad.
She bought some
Say
paint.
hi to everybody.
Hey.
These are all the people on YouTube. We're live right now. This is my dad. He helps me. He comes here and works at the store like once every 2 weeks. He fixes things. He fixed our railing last week. He built our covering for our clothing rack. Everybody's saying hi to you, Dad. But anyway, I was watching Levi while you had your doctor's appointment. How'd that go?
Good.
Good. All right. Well, I took his leash off because he was. Anyway, what was the question about
so
the?
the question was,
Freezing.
she
during
bought some
shipping.
paint and it's really thick, so I'm wondering if it had frozen at some point. I'm picky about how I store my paint. No extreme temps.
Has she ever used this paint before?
Debs?
Oh, of course. Never mind.
Yeah.
So it's thicker than normal.
So and she's concerned about. And Deb says your dad is so adorable.
Oh, thank you. He is adorable. I've taken DIY paint and put it in the freezer. I have a video showing working with frozen paint because I wanted it to thicken up. But after it thaws out, it should get thin again. If it's thick, it could be that the air got to it and you just need to add some water to it. But if you think that something's wrong with it, return it to the place that you purchased it. But the awesome thing about DIY paint is that I've had other brands of paint, and if it gets frozen, it's over. It's ruined. Like the chemicals separate, and when you open the lid, it's like a champagne cork. The lid gets all domed, and there's gases that form inside the paint, and it pops like a champagne cork. And you can never use, and it smells horrible, and you can never use it.
That's sort of what happened to Julie yesterday, but with a FIFO bottle that got stuck.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm telling you, if you have a FIFO bottle and you squeeze once and it doesn't come out, you got to fix it. Don't keep
You
squeezing
need to
because she
fix it.
ended up with it
Yes.
all over her face,
And
clothes,
hair.
glasses.
But that
Yeah.
was not because of the chemical reaction. That was just because the lid was clogged.
Yes,
Yeah.
But
that is.
with DIY paint, so when we got our new formula, the first thing I wanted to do was see if the paint gets ruined from freezing, because most paints will be ruined from freezing. So I put it in the freezer overnight, and it was like ice cream. It was really thick, and I used it to create this frozen paint look, because sometimes I like to put paint on with a putty knife.
And pretend it's frosting.
Yeah, and then when it thawed out, I just stirred it up, and it went back to its normal consistency. So, but paint will thicken up because it is clay based. So a lot of times I need to, if I don't get the lid on tight, I need to add water to it. I have had paint completely dry up in the can because I didn't get the lid on tight, and I will pulverize it.
Oh, you know what?
Turn it back
That's
into
what I
powder
don't do.
and add water to it and use it again.
Laura,
What?
petticoat pink is the lightest pink that we have. I don't know if you can hear me over here.
Yeah. You can also make a pink by adding a drop of red into white. Like if you want that warm peachy pink, you could take a warm white and add a little bit of one of our reds, or even
Kissing Booth makes a really pretty pink.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Melissa, are you feeling it? You think we're ready to
I'm liking it.
okay.
Debs wants to know, how are you turning it back into powder? Just wondering your method.
In a blender.
A blender. Or a coffee grinder.
But then, even though it's food safe, I probably would still get a new coffee grinder.
Yeah. Or you could take the chunks and like put it in a bag and then take a mallet and pound the crap out of it.
Or you could put it in a baggie and put your cowboy boots on and throw it on the sidewalk and stomp on it.
There's
Kissing
so many
Booth
ways.
and which white? Laura wants to know.
Whatever white you use will affect the color. So we have
Yeah.
cool whites, we have gray whites, we have warm whites.
I always tend to go for white swan when I'm doing
Me too.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
White
When I'm
swan
making
is
a
like
lighter
the
color.
pure white, and then we have like crinoline and tarnished pearl, which will give you like a warmer, peachier pink. Because they're warm.
Vanjie wants to know if you plan on selling your paint in France. IOD products can be found, but not your products.
Because, do you want to know why?
I
a
wanna
very
know
good
why.
question. Because paint is liquid, and our government gives us so much pain in the butt if you want to ship liquids. You know, like when you,
Really?
you know, like when you go to the airport and you
Or
have
the
to,
post
Oh, yeah.
you have to have your
Yeah.
shampoo bottles in the 4-ounce containers.
I'm not gonna be able to
Anything over 4 ounces, it's liquid. It's not that it's the chemicals. Are you all right?
No, I got gravel.
Oh no,
What's
that
that?
hurt.
You want me to get you a knee
So-
pad thing?
It's because of the liquid that
Oh, I'm not going down. I don't
it
do
costs
that.
so much to ship DIY paint to other countries. But if you want it, Jamie Ray does ship it. It's pricey. But if you really want it, go to jamierayvintage.com and she ships international.
Kathleen wants to know what color is a light cream.
Melissa, what do you
A light cream?
Tarnished pearl,
Oh my
crinoline.
gosh. You know, crinoline pulls a lot of yellow. Tarnished pearl is more of a
brown?
I don't know, it is a little
It
bit
looks
more
so
brown, but
similar.
it's just not yellow. After you put it on, it doesn't look yellow. So I
What
would
about
say
vintage
that
linen?
vintage linen is still very white to me.
It's like an off-white.
Just barely though, depending on what it's next to.
I guess I would say that crinoline is the closest to cream. Like it has like a melted ice cream, creamy look.
Yeah.
Are you
Okay.
still live?
Yep, we're still live.
Where's this leash?
It's over here on the table. I'm gonna ask if we are still alive. What other comments do we have, Jules?
Bianca
He had an accident with his
loves the
poop
color
bag
blue
thing.
on that furniture. She's loving the blue. Debs loves vintage linen. It's almost a very light grayish.
Kind of.
Yeah, it is. It is
Yeah.
a little cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that sponge with the roughness?
I
think I
put it that way.
Yeah, so after you get sick of using the baby wipes, you could use a sponge with a little bit of grittiness to it and really take off whole bunch of paint. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you ever like distress for so long and it's like it's time to get real with this thing?
Yeah.
That's what I'm about to do.
Barbara wants to know if you ever use rub and buff gold or silver on the distressed area.
I haven't. I
and
don't
buff?
actually use a lot of gold or silver.
Dawn loves to use the golden ticket. I've used rub and buff before, and it's not. I like it.
I don't know what
But
rub and
I-
buff is. Is that
It's like a gold paste that you can highlight areas with. It's pretty cool stuff.
who makes it?
You get it at Michael's.
Oh.
I don't know. It's just like a.
Oh, cool. I'll
Is
have
it
to
a
check out.
tube?
Yeah, like a little tube of toothpaste. But I'm not a big metallic kind of person either. I don't know.
Annette McShane misses you, Debbie.
Oh, Annette, that's so sweet. I miss you too. Why weren't you in Ohio, Annette? I think Michelle Rapolgo was supposed to be in Ohio. Some people didn't. Some people didn't make it. But we had like 55 women come from all over.
How was the weather when you were there?
It was cold, but it wasn't moist, and it wasn't snowy. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Like if it's cold and damp, then it's really, really hard.
And traveling is harder.
Yeah.
Zoe wants to know if you've ever thought of making any metallic paints.
No, because I'm not a metallic fan. I just don't like it myself. We have Golden Ticket, and we're coming out with a copper metallic. We're probably not going to do a silver because you have to use aluminum, and that's really a toxic ingredient, and we're all non-toxic. But I like to keep the line.
Deb said, and I was thinking the same thing.
What?
In all caps. Oh no, you didn't just say moist.
Oh.
A lot
I know,
of people
that's
don't
such a-
like that word.
It's like almost like a really bad word.
Yeah, people do not like that word.
I don't know.
I like it when you're talking about gluten-free pastry and cake.
Yeah, nobody
That's always
nobody wants a dry
yeah,
pastry.
ew. Especially if it's gluten-free.
It just like my mom used to always tell me, the words you use, people visualize. So think about what you say because people are going to picture what you're saying in your head. So like she would even tell me, if you answer the phone and just say, if they say, oh, did I catch you at a bad time? And you say, oh, I was just going to the bathroom. They're going to visualize
Oh, yeah.
you
Okay.
doing that.
Yeah.
So don't say that. Just be like, oh, no, I was just freshening up or whatever. But yeah, I think that's why the word moist is not good because whatever you visualize with that
Yeah.
word is kind
Okay.
of disgusting.
Do you want to switch it so they can see both sides?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty similar, but it's always like when you're using two different people, distressing usually comes out differently. But I think we've pretty well done a good job of mimicking each other.
I do too. I think so. We don't have any kind of leopard spots going on.
No.
Rosa in the Dominican Republic wants to know, or says it's impossible to find your paint. I have searched Amazon, but I've only found other brands. Where can I buy it in New Jersey or New York?
We have several retailers in New York and New Jersey. We have, if you go to DIYpaint.co and click the button that says find a retailer near you, we have several in New Jersey and New York. Becca from Miller's Crossing, Peggy, Tyrell, gosh, there's many, and we have a couple new ones signing up in New York.
Yeah, so
So-
go to the DIYpaint.co and click on find a retailer near you.
Yeah.
Deb's
All right.
is no longer worried about the distressing. She says it's looking really good now.
Oh, good. Deb. Thank God. I was worried about Deb being worried.
She says that she loves seeing all the fabulous details of the piece. It's going to look even better with the wax or big top.
Yeah. Okay, Melissa, are you ready to put the big top on?
I am. I'm going to grab the paper right now.
Can you guys see down here where there's like so much paint taken off? I love that. I love it when it's like totally, like if we had more than an hour, I would probably wipe off even more. But I want to get the transfer on, you know?
Sylvia wants to know if you
I lost
painted
the big
the indoor shop walls with this paint. Could you?
Yes.
I painted my kitchen.
I painted my bathroom.
We have not painted the walls, I don't think. Or maybe we have.
We did.
Yeah,
we
have.
made them chalkboard.
Yeah,
And then, so you wouldn't seal it. You would just have that chalky.
yeah.
I sealed
Yeah.
mine though.
You
I
did
did
with Big
seal
Top?
mine. I didn't seal it with Big
That's a lot
Top.
of
I
Big Top
sealed
work.
it with a water-based
Oh, okay.
interior.
So this is Big
Paint.
Top. This is our strongest sealer. We also have liquid patina. We also have wax, but we're going to use the Big Top. It gives it like a satin sheen. It dries pretty fast. And we're doing this because we're putting a transfer on, and that is the safest way to make sure that the transfer is not going to come up with the paint. So we're just putting it on, and you can see that it's reactivating the paint again, making it dark, and then it will dry like color in between. So our paint is like chameleon. You know what I mean?
I have a question. Are you worried at all about some of the dark spots that don't look totally dried? Putting the Big Top over it?
If I were like the kind of person who's totally meticulous and what's another word for meticulous?
Goes by the book.
Yeah, I would, but I want a blended look. So, you know, like if this weren't a YouTube live, I would probably hit it with a dryer and then put it on, but I don't mind a little bit of variation. I think it adds to the blended look.
I do like the variation in the paint.
Yeah. So because we're painting over these wet spots right here, we might have a variation when it totally dries. Do you think there will be, or do you think it will all even out?
Well, I kind of think that it will all even out because it kind of becomes one and reactivates the paint a little bit when you're...
We have the mermaid mold here, don't we?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
we do. We have
Yeah.
a lot.
Guys,
DIYpaint.co, you can get the mermaid
yeah.
mold.
Who was asking about that? We have the mold here at DIYpaint.co. Go there and you can order it from us.
Yeah.
She's saying she can't find it anywhere.
Oh, you know what? I have so many of them, and you know why? Because when I made the mermaid dresser with the mermaid drawer pulls, I ordered like 75 molds because I was afraid we would run out. And
Right.
I thought they were going to go up on our website immediately, but we had trouble with getting them up on the website. And so they just sat in a box for like 6 months. And we've had these molds. We've been selling them slowly in the store, but we've been hoarding them. So we
Yeah.
have, like, how many do we have right now?
We have a
Well,
lot,
you'll be
don't
happy
we?
to know, in our back stock right now, we really only have about 8.
We only have 8 mermaid
Yeah.
molds. See, they
Oh.
sell so fast. I have more coming, but if you want one, we have 8. So I would go to DIYpaint.co and get it before 8 other people watching this go get it. We have more on order, but IOD is hard, man. It sells so fast, it's hard to keep it in the stock.
Vintage Sin wants to know if you're going to seal it after you put the transfer on.
Yep. We usually seal it before and after. Well, let me just be honest, Vintage Sin. I usually never seal it before, but we're doing it to be responsible because some people have trouble with paint sticking. So we're showing you that this is the safest way, is to seal it before and after. But I usually don't seal it first. I usually wait a day, and then I seal it after always. But you can seal it before and after. It makes it go on easier.
Yeah, I always seal it just because of that one bad experience I had putting it on a cupboard.
Yeah, if you paint it and then you immediately try and put the transfer on.
Yeah, we
It's
dried it with
no-
the hair
Yeah.
dryer and then put it on. We
Yeah.
didn't even let it heal or sit
Yeah,
or
it's-
cool down or anything.
Yeah, that's not a good idea. That's a recipe for disaster.
It not only pulled up the fresh coat of paint I put on, it pulled up the latex paint that was under it.
My goodness.
We are also rubbing really hard.
A couple
Yeah,
gals
we-
want to know if the foot down at the bottom is chipped. I think there's
Yes.
that one.
Yep, we have the piece. We're gonna have Bobby fix it. It chipped. Dang it.
We have a lot of chippy.
Sylvia says, Debbie has a famous painted sofa video prior to her DIY paint line. Has Debbie painted any fabric pieces with her paint yet?
I have 2 sofa videos. One with DIY paint and one with another paint that I used to use. And then I painted my headboard that had fabric on it. So there's 3 videos that I've painted fabric with.
Yeah, and also
So-
one of your classes, you had people bring their own denim and
Yeah.
totally get with all the stamps and everything from IOD and stamp
So-
their denim.
So the first video I painted a couch pink, and I just painted it on and didn't try and do anything other than just slap on the paint, and it looked like a canvas. It got really thick and kind of rough, and it kind of felt like a pleather, and it cracked when you sat on it. And that was like years ago with a different paint. And then 3 years ago, I found this velvet sofa for $20 at the thrift store, and I wanted a velvet sofa that was at Anthropology for $3,000. I'm like, and it was that old 70s gold. I'm like, wonder if I can make this sofa look like the Anthro one. But I didn't want it to be all crunchy and stiff. I wanted it to be the same velvetiness that it was, because it was super velvety and good. It was just gold. So I got Bohemian Blue, and I worked it into the fabric. It's my most popular video. It's over 1 million views. And the thing is, if you're gonna paint fabric, watch the video and then click the link under it to go to my blog post, because there are so many things that can go wrong if you don't do it right. The main thing you want to think about when painting fabric is you're not painting the fabric, you're dyeing it. So if the paint sits on the surface of the fabric and it's not worked in like a dye, it's gonna crunch. And then once it crunches, you can't uncrunch it. There's no way. Like it's just
I wanna
done.
Show
Like
you something.
what?
Look it. This one is almost like a
You
dye
can see
here.
the wood grain. I
Isn't
love
that
that.
cool?
That is cool. That's what
Yeah,
you
that's
get
really
when you
cool.
don't have very much paint on.
Are you guys
That's
putting
cool.
a transfer on today?
Yes.
So how long will you let the big top dry before you will do the transfer?
We're gonna hit it with a
Oh, okay.
paint dryer.
Okay.
Normally it dries pretty fast.
Okay, I didn't know
but
you
it's
could
cool.
do big top like that too with the dryer.
Yeah, you can.
I just don't hold it as close, and I keep moving it.
Yeah, look at the leg right by Debbie. How you can see the grain
yeah,
on that
I
one.
love that. I almost wish we would have distressed it even more. Don't you?
Yeah.
It's looking good.
It's looking great because this piece has like a Mexican boho vibe.
I think I want to leave that one undone so we can distress that one more.
That leg.
Yeah, because we have to repair it down there anyway. What do you
want
think?
me to just distress it right now, real quick?
Sure.
Here we go.
All right. Yeah.
And maybe we
We're
should just start
distressing.
drying. See how fast this comes off? Like I'm taking the whole palm of my hand.
Are we putting part of the transfer on the top of this?
I like it to creep up the top just a little bit.
Okay,
sometimes.
then I'm going to move all of this stuff and get some on the top.
Any other questions, Julie?
No, I think they're just all mesmerized by you guys. I'm scrolling backward to see if there's anything that I
They're
missed.
mesmerized, Melissa.
Wow. If we could only do that with children, we
Or
would
dogs.
have like a ton of people wanting to follow us because they need to learn our tricks.
Yeah. All right, look at that. Look how easy that came off. Can they see it? Can you guys see that leg? Are we ready for the transfer?
Yeah, are we creeping up this side? Because I only have it
You want to slap
going
the
this side.
Vintage Sin wants
Yeah.
to know where you got this piece of.
Encinitas? It's one of my favorite places to find.
Do they have good prices?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, good for, like not yard sale good, not
Yeah.
Kobe swap meet good.
But for a good piece of furniture.
for really good furniture,
Yeah.
it's good. Like I have found some deals there. I think this
Okay, I'm gonna
piece
get
was
the hairdryer.
this piece was like 89.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding?
Yeah.
That's a great price for that. Wow. Somebody had said earlier that they would like to buy it. I don't know if they were just saying they would love to buy it or they really want to buy it. Do you know like how much you're going to ask for it yet, or do you have to wait till it's finished?
I always wait till it's finished because
Yeah.
sometimes you can mess it up and then it ain't worth anything.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and then she, like, it's gonna have a very specific look. So she would need to like it after the transfer is on.
Right.
But, yeah, if I like it, I don't know.
Let's see. Deb says she bets white wax all over that would look fab.
It probably would. Dion loves to put on white wax, but I like saturated color. So I'll tell you a little secret. If you ever see me put white wax on a piece of furniture, it's because I feel like I messed it up.
Oh.
Because if my blending is feeling really intense or like it's not soft enough, white wax will help you like get a softer, more cohesive look.
That's good to know.
So I hardly ever use white wax unless I feel like I messed it up, and then I use it.
Ooh, this is interesting. Deb's asked if you've ever auctioned a piece. She thinks some folks would be in a bidding war. That's true. You could probably.
Yeah,
that would
We've
be
had people
interesting.
just buy it right off the channel though, haven't we?
yeah. The
They've
seahorse
just
dresser.
messaged and
The seahorse dresser sold like
yes,
immediately.
and that
the
other
bee,
little one.
the bumblebee.
Oh yeah, the bumblebee.
Yeah.
Um,
The birds and the branches.
You guys are gonna have to talk louder.
Maya wants to know
I need the brush.
if you have any paint retailers in Istanbul, and how can I but buy and try your beautiful products? So she must be in Istanbul.
If you're in a place that's not in the United States, you would need to go to jamierayvintage.com. I am still going to Orange Theory, but I have not been for a week because I've been sick. This has been the longest that I have not gone, and I feel like
Are you
I
feeling
feel-
better today?
I'm feeling like I'm starting to get better, but all week I've been feeling horrible, and like I'm used to going to the gym 5 days a week, and I have not gone for 7 days. So not only do I feel sick, but I feel gross, like I'm starting to get all flabby. So it's like a double-edged sword. I don't like it. That is looking so good. Look at her. She's drawing and painting. She's drawing with one hand and brushing
my
with
gosh.
the other. Melissa,
Superwoman.
you're like a two-fisted drinker. Here, I can help. This is looking good. I love this.
Okay, so for you who haven't actually used our paint before, it will go on. It will go on wet and it will be dark. It will lighten up, as you saw. If you can check out the bottom rung down here, which still doesn't have any sealer on it, and it's dried. It's a lighter blue. So it's once it's all dry and ready to go, lightened up, we're gonna put the sealer. So any sealer you put on it, whether it's Big Top or wax or patina, or if you're using it outside, some kind of a exterior grade sealer from your hardware store, it's going to liven the color back up. It's going to bring it back almost to the wet color. And this, you're gonna see that it's drying, and we do have highlights and variations in the paint. And that's also because some of the paint is thicker in some places than others. And sometimes the mixture of the clay will actually do that, and it will just be kind of
just beautiful.
an awesome surprise kind of thing.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't think you guys can really see how gorgeous this is on the camera. It is, in person, it is just beautiful.
We'll post some before and after
Yeah,
in
it's,
the community tab. Is it dry? Does it feel dry?
I'll dry it. Do you want to show the stencil?
Sylvia's question is, how can you possibly sell these original masterpieces of art? Is it hard to give them up?
When you live in a house that's 400 square feet, you cannot keep it all. And the great thing about here's how we can sell it. It's so easy to do it. Like, you guys can do this at home so easy with the transfers and with the paint, that I know that if